Well, good afternoon, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is H. Yes, just the letter. I'm one of the senior QA engineers at Kanji. I work on the EDR project there. And I've been working in QA for about 8 years, and I've been at Kanji for about two. Um, I'm one of those people that you love to see start to DM you in Slack. You know it's coming with good news. And for today, I wanted to go over the importance of QA. I'm going to be going over some examples of some poor QA that we can look at and what we can learn from that. And I'm also putting some hidden errors inside the presentation, kind of test everyone else's QA themselves. So pay attention, see if you might find any mistakes. And then at the end, we'll take a tally. You could use the Discord chat, so there's no cheating. You can put how many you found. And hopefully you only find the ones I intentionally put in there. So let's get talking about the importance of QA. So like I stated, we're going to discuss some poor QA examples, and it's going to focus on a recent trip that me and my wife did to Disneyland. And riding some of the rides, I got to get a preview into their process flow, as well as using their app and finding some interesting gaps just by using it. So I took this opportunity to take some screenshots and could show you maybe why QA is so important. I'm going to be focusing on two areas. We're going to focus on the customer experience first, and then secondly, bugs. So for the customer experience, I'm going to talk about one ride in particular. This ride is called Toy Story Midway Mania. For those who don't know, it's an arcade type ride where you sit in a little spinning vehicle there. You can see you have a little fake interactive gun and you shoot darts, throw pies, throw rings, and you try to get points. And you're competing against the person who's sitting next to you, the people behind you. All the activities scored. You try to get as high a score as possible. They even have monthly stats for those who go quite a bit. So if you want to see some of my scores, here they are. Here are two different times I was on this ride. And the first one on the left here, I got a nice white screen. And then for the second one, I got a good error message here. So when it came to this ride and your score, this is a big part of it. And so we see the first mistake they made, and that's that they're using Windows. Windows XP to be exact. Now this screen is kind of hard to see, but this is from the line queue, and they put a little privacy screen over it, but that's the start bar in the bottom left corner. And it's definitely Windows XP. I just hope they're not connected to the internet, but this was taken last year. But I'm pretty sure they're not connected to the internet because they forgot to activate it. And to give you a little imagination of what this looks like, these screens are about as big as this screen each. So these activation signs, these start bars, are 15 feet wide. They're not very subtle. And so it really takes you out of the ride as you get to see these mistakes, unless you're me, at which point it's the best part of your trip. Now, I tried to offer them a solution, but they didn't seem interested. Do we have any Python devs in here? Because they seem to be having a problem with it. And again, this air box is a good 6 feet across. But I don't think we're going to help them debug it today. Now, it's easy to laugh and poke fun and all these different things. We have to look at it from a paying customer's perspective. People are here to escape reality, and it's things like this that can bring them back to reality. So imagine this from their perspective if you were giving a presentation for your software. And time again, you saw errors, misspellings, crashes. This is part of the reason that people like me in QA work so hard to create the best experience that a customer could have. For our next example, we're going to talk about what everyone thinks QA does, which is bugs. Now, when a person hears about somebody in QA, they think of extreme examples, testing things to the edge, and trying to look for individual problems. And that's all true. But the main job of quality QA is looking for process gaps. It's a huge part of what we do, is making sure that the left hand and right hand don't interfere with each other and they know what they're doing. And so if these process gaps get through, it becomes a much bigger issue. And while on this trip, I was using the official Disneyland app, which is some of the screenshots here. And I found a pretty useful process gap, well, useful for me. So at Disneyland, for those who don't know, there's two different lines to most rides, not every ride. There's a traditional standby line on your right here, and it gives you your wait time, and that's where you're just going to wait in the queue. And then there's a virtual line called the Lightning Lane. Now, this is done through the app, and when you request to join the virtual queue, it gives you a return time. And they try to limit how many people could go so that on average you wait 10 to 15 minutes in this return line. And as you can see here, they've got the Lightning Lane with the time that it currently is. And so when I was playing around with the app, I noticed a pretty wonderful gap. So because I'm fun at parties, I thought I'd make a flow chart. And just to kind of walk you through it, I know this is a bit much, but first thing you should know is that Lightning Lanes is a paid service. So you definitely don't want to encounter any kind of gaps. You're paying for this. And so first it's going to check, does the ride actually offer a Lightning Lane? Then it's going to check, do you already have a ticket to another ride? Because you're not supposed to have more than one at a time. And then because they only let so many people in the Lightning Lane, the time keeps moving further throughout the day as more people get a ticket for it. And so they have to check, is there going to be room before the park closes? And finally, they'll offer you a return time, add you to their queue, and it won't be a problem. Now, when you actually go to the ride at your return time, the process for redeeming your Lightning Lane is pretty simple. First, is the ride open? If it is, you'll get in the line, enjoy the show. However, if the ride is down for some reason, as a I'm sorry, they'll convert your Lightning Lane ticket into what's called a Lightning Lane Select experience. Now, this is a much more special Lightning Lane ticket. First of all, it works on every ride, and it's good for all day. And so there's a big incentive to try to get a selective Lightning Lane, but that only happens if the ride's down. So can you spot the gap if I haven't laid it on thick enough? What if the park is open, but the ride is down? So as you can see from this example here, this is inside their app, and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, it's down for some reason. I think it was raining that day. I don't 100% remember. And you see the standby line, not currently offered. Can't go into it. However, the Lightning Lane is still offered. And that's that LL Genie Plus. And so, as if you recall, when we redeem the Lightning Lane and the ride is down, we get that select experience. So like any good tester, I thought I would try to break the Disneyland system and cut in line in every ride. So let's look at the exploit that I was able to find. So if you join this virtual queue and the ride is down, not a lot of people know about this. And so I'm ruining that a touch here. But if most people don't try to get in the virtual queue, the return time will be very quick, sometimes 5 or 10 minutes, because it's only you trying to get in that line. The time rolls around, the ride is closed, you get a select Lightning Lane experience ticket, and then you rinse and repeat. So for legal reasons, this is not a screenshot from my phone. This is just an example of what could happen if somebody found this exploit and then had many, many Lightning Lane tickets at the same time. For multiple rides across the park, that's definitely something we'd want to avoid a customer being able to do. So what's the fix for the problem? Well, like most gaps in any software, the fix is really simple. You just need to check, is the ride operating? If you can't get in the physical line, you shouldn't be able to get into the virtual line. And while this particular gap was wonderful for me and my family on this trip, that's often not the case. You know, I work on the EDR project at Kanji, and could you imagine what could happen if there were gaps inside of an anti-malware solution? You know, people with bad intentions are going to work very hard to try to bypass your systems. And it's QA's job not to just find the bugs, but to also find the gaps before they reach a customer. So what do we do about it? Get to know your QA teams. When you're doing your next deploy, seek them out. We make flowcharts for fun. We're trained to find gaps. And as developers, a lot of times you can get siloed in what you're working on. And I'm sure you have 100% unit test coverage without issue. But just in case you don't, the QA team is designed to look at things from an outsider perspective so that we don't get that siloed viewpoint to hopefully prevent these sort of gaps and sort of things from happening. So get to know your QA folks, and hopefully your next deploy won't be the Disneyland app. Now this is technically, oh, it didn't move slides. Oh no. Should have QA'd this. Okay. So this is technically my last slide, but we have to do the mistakes. How good were you at QA? So go ahead and put that in the Discord chat, but let's also do some hand raising. So who here think they found 5 mistakes? 5 mistakes? 5? 5 more? 10 mistakes? Oh, good. So there should be 7 mistakes throughout this presentation. So it's mostly misalignment, the date's wrong, importance is misspelled if you didn't catch that. And the trickiest one of all is that picture of Disneyland where I was explaining the lines. That's Disney World, not Disneyland. Well, that's it. Thank you everybody for your time.